communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Heart health is more than just the physical well-being. It represents like a foundation of vitality, resilience, and the ability to live fully.
Your heart carries stories of resilience, love, and survival. Caring for your heart means honoring yourself and the generations before and after you. It means protecting your ability to gather, laugh, and be present. Learn more about your heart health at hennepincounty.gov/heart-beats, because your story matters and your heart beats for generations.
Native relatives, work requirements are coming to medical assistance, but American Indian people are exempt. If you have medical assistance, go to mn.gov/DHS/American Indian to report that you are American Indian. If you apply for medical assistance, report that you are American Indian on your application. It's that easy. Checking the box protects your health and your insurance. Again, go to mn.gov/DHS/American Indian.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovated Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 60, Saturday sunny with a high near 83, and Sunday sunny with a high around 85. Crooners is your go-to classic supper club, offering world-class entertainment and 4-star dining. Catch top artists in the main stage showroom, Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the Belvedere under the stars. Or stop by Maggie's Lounge, where there's no cover and no reservations. Visit croonersmn.com for details.
Always good with customers, so that was fun. Hey, do you have any a quick teaser?
Because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Karagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events. And as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, today we have our friend State Senator Mary Kunesh on. Also, later in the show, we'll have Miisko, who's on right now, but we'll have her on later, and we're going to have our young woman warrior segment here that we're really so happy to have Miisko aboard, and also giving her young warrior perspective of what's going on with the show and what's going on all over Turtle Island. One of the things I wanted to really right away bring up is that Leech Lake has a voting helping kind of thing happening, but before I get too confusing our Leech Lake members out there, why don't we play that clip, Miisko?
Attention Hennepin County Leech Lake Band members. The Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe presents Our Voices, Our Future. Join us on Saturday, August 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Barbecue, luncheon, guest speakers, and door prizes. Located at the LLBO Twin Cities office, 2438 27th Avenue South, Minneapolis. Need a ride to the polls? Rides are available to the polls on August 8th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Text for ride at 218-402-5003. Include name and address. Please vote in the Minnesota primary election. Miigwech.
Wow, it's so cool. Our voices. Oh, put that back up, please. Our voices. Our future. And again, it's August 8th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And just really excited that our relatives up at Leech Lake are reaching out to our urban members here and really, really helping them out with getting out to vote. And it's really important to vote no matter who you're voting for. So I just wanted to throw that out, Miisko.
Yeah, and it's not just Leech Lake band members that are invited. Anyone who is around is invited. They're going to have community members speaking, tribal leaders speaking. So, again, it's important to vote, get out. It's going to have barbecue, door prizes, a really fun weekend plan.
Right on. Hey, another thing too, Miisko, it's we have updates from for our Wisconsin people, listeners out there on civic media and all over Turtle Island. We get a report from the governor of Wisconsin, but it's good information for everyone. So why don't we take a quick listen to the governor of the great state of Wisconsin, Tony Evers.
Hey there, Native Roots Radio. Governor Tony Evers here with my weekly update. This week we're kicking off the 175th Wisconsin State Fair. As somebody who's been going to the Wisconsin State Fair for over 50 years with my wife Kathy, take it from me, it's the best darn 11 days of the year. And this year is extra special because this year we're celebrating 175 years of fair tradition. For 175 years, the State Fair has served as a spotlight of the proud agricultural traditions that are in our DNA as Wisconsinites and the many industries and people that made us the state we are today. From live performances and art displays to livestock exhibits, experiences for the whole family, and countless new foods to try, including this year's Cherry Cream Puff, the Wisconsin State Fair is a celebration of all that makes our state the great place it is to call home. Not only that, but the fair generates hundreds of millions of dollars in economic activity for our state, has seen record-breaking attendance in recent years, and gained national attention as a standout fair experience. But none of this happens by chance. Folks, I declare 2026 the year of the neighbor in Wisconsin because I wanted to spend this year celebrating the incredible people who make Wisconsin the great place it is. And that includes the countless farmers, youth exhibitors, performers, artists, vendors, small business owners, community leaders, industry powerhouses, and dedicated State Fair staff and volunteers who not only make the State Fair happen, but who are the very fabric of our state. So head on down until August 16th to the Wisconsin State Fair to celebrate them and all that makes Wisconsin a great place it is to live. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Robert, and Native Roots Radio.
Wow, thanks, Gov Evers. Really appreciate you. And, I've been to that fair, and it's an awesome fair, Miisko. And it comes to second or third place to the Minnesota State Fair, which comes up, you can go to both of them. One of the things I wanted to just say about the State Fair, a couple things here in the Minnesota State Fair, is that August 30th, it's going to be Indigenous Peoples Day, and we'll be out there for the Circle magazine, giving out a special edition back to school State Fair edition circles. So stop on by the Circle booth, and then of course Native Roots Trading Post will be out there all State Fair, and that's my daughter's store out there, and it has merch and everything, wild rice, art, it's just books. It's just a great place to go, and that's in the West End Market. And we'll be doing a live show there too, Miisko, on Thursday, a day before your vacation, and your big news of you're moving and all that great stuff that's happening in your personal life we won't get into, but just awesome time, awesome week. And I think you'll be out there with the Circle too, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited to hear about, the Wisconsin State Fair. I've never been. I'm an enrolled Wisconsin native, but I grew up here in the Twin Cities. So I've so far only been to the State Fair here in Minnesota, but that sounds like a really, fun time. So thank you, Governor, for that. And yeah, I'm just super excited. August has a lot coming in. Again, yeah, going to become a first-time homeowner, and but we will be at the state fair, and I'm super excited to be here. Radio and the Circle. So again, I invite everybody who's listening to come visit Native Roots Radio on the West End while we do our show at the Native Roots Trading Post. I've been there, I think, last year and the year before, and they had a lot of great stuff. I believe Wendy makes art too, right?
Yep, definitely. She has a lot of art down there too. But we also support Native artists, and that's a really exciting thing too. And yeah, you'll see some of Wendy's stuff, and I know it's always a big seller. And she's married to a Native, so she doesn't claim to be Native, but she does sell a lot of great art out there at the state fair. And then also, it's funny too. I want to mention this too. And then later on, we'll be in the Dayton's market again. And Miisko used to be the manager of Native Roots Trading Post at the market downtown Minneapolis.
Really good times. It's right next to the IDS Center. I used to go, eat lunch there, but then also learning about the history of Dayton's and all the customers that would come in and tell us their stories of getting engaged and when they were younger, and just hearing that from generations ago was just amazing to be there and to represent Native culture and Native art in like that space. So I think that was a really great experience for me.
Yeah, that was years ago when you were younger, and now that was a great experience, and I really appreciate your expertise, and you're always good with customers, so that was fun. Hey, do you have any a quick teaser for your segment coming up on segment 4?
Let's see. We'll figure it out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm super excited to talk. Actually, I want to talk about voting, the importance of voting, as well as we have Mary Kunesh coming on, sharing a lot of great information about what's to come next week, and as well as things that are happening in the community, and we will reflect on that.
Absolutely. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back. Again, what Miisko said, we'll have State Senator Mary Kunesh up next. You're listening to Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Attention Hennepin County Leech Lake Band members. The Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe presents Our Voices, Our Future. Join us on Saturday, August 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Barbecue luncheon, guest speakers, and door prizes. Located at the LLBO Twin Cities office, 2438 27th Avenue South, Minneapolis. Need a ride to the polls? Rides are available to the polls on August 8th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Text for ride at 218-402-5003. Include name and address. Please vote in the Minnesota primary election. Miigwech.
Culture prevents so many negative things from happening to us as individuals and as communities.
Strong roots begin with a healthy heart. For Indigenous women, heart health is part of caring for community, culture, and future generations. Even small steps can help protect what matters most. Discover ways to support your heart at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats, because your heart beats for generations. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible Indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio
Hoka, Hicha, Wecha. Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Robert Pilot, and we are here with our friend, State Senator Mary Kunesh. Always great to get updates of what's going on politically, but all over Turtle Island. You're plugged in, and we really appreciate you being able to come on Native Roots Radio all these years, even when you were a state representative. Now you're a state senator. So again, really, really appreciate you stopping in. Lot of updates here. I'll let you take it over here. But again, thank you again, Pinigi State Senator Mary Kunesh.
Hamataki. It's really good to be here with all of you. I hope you are enjoying this beautiful day. In Minnesota, we had a lot of really good rain, which we absolutely needed. And now the sun is coming out, and I think we're going to have a beautiful evening here. It's been a busy week, as usual. When we talk about being a legislator, they say, oh, it's a part-time job or it's a part-time sort of thing, but we are always keeping busy. I'm hearing so much from the community. It's an election year for us in the Senate, as well as in the House of Representatives and just about every other position in Minnesota in our state government. But people are happy to start talking and telling, the things that concern them the most. And a lot of times they have ideas of what we should do and how we should do it. And I know that I have always appreciated that. I would say, the bulk of the legislation that I carry or the bills that the team puts together come from constituents and maybe not just my constituents, but people from around the state that will contact me for one reason or another, or I'll be somewhere and we'll be talking about something and they're like, we need to do this. And I'll say, hey, contact me and we'll see what we can do. And so that has happened a couple times this week where people have some good ideas around legislation. There's a lot coming down from the federal government that are going to have disastrous impact on Minnesotans, healthcare. They have withheld millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for Medicare. And so as a state, we have to find funding for that. The hemp industry is just getting off its feet here in Minnesota. And now at the federal level, they want to basically say that it's illegal in every state across the nation. Any of these hemp-derived products, whether they're gummies or beverages or chewables, the federal government wants to make it illegal, which is, for so many of our breweries and those small dispensaries, this is going to devastate them. And there's many, many people that rely on the medical side of hemp and marijuana for their mental health, for their physical health, for managing pain. Oftentimes, it's really kind of a miracle drug. And so I'm hearing a lot of those sort of things, but, this is what we do. This is what we kind of signed up for. And, luckily I retired from teaching, 5 or 6 years ago and can really pay attention to this. But this week we had some good news. We heard that the position for the director of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives Office has been posted. I would encourage anyone who is interested, whether you're here in Minnesota or perhaps you live in another state and you are familiar with the pandemic of the missing and murdered Indigenous women across our country, please take a look on the state government website, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's director position, and consider applying for that position if you think you have the experience, have the fortitude, have the resilience, and are dedicated to addressing this issue. We were the first in the nation to really address this phenomena, this historic trauma. back in 2018, as a new legislator in the Minnesota House, I created a task force to study missing and murdered Indigenous relatives in Minnesota. It was, it was sort of one of those things where you have no idea how to do it. You don't know where it's going to go. And luckily, every time we hit a dead end, something would happen and we would be able to move forward. We had incredible people, relatives come and tell their stories, not their own stories, but of missing relatives and the impact and trauma that it created within their families, within the community. And everybody listened. That was the incredible thing. It was a bipartisan piece of legislation. So the task force went really stupendously, even though it was during COVID. And the Wilder Institute, led by Dr. Nicole Martin Rogers, put out a really, really substantial task force report. And from that, we had a handful of recommendations. And the very first one was to create that missing and murdered Indigenous relatives office. And again, we were the first in the nation to do that. And we've had growing pains. We have nothing to look at for a template or how to do this or how to build the data, how to build the coalitions and the collaboration. So it's been a little bit of a rocky road as we, really fine tune it and put it into the form that we want it to be. And so now we're looking for a new director. That position has been vacant for maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. And they went back and they looked at the position, took into consideration some things that they felt the director should have either as experience or a skill set, and revamped it. And they just made it public like yesterday or the day before. So consider looking for it. And I think you'll post that link, Robert, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Miisko's on it right now. One thing before she does that, I just want to touch base too. I see so many of your license plate, the MMIR license plates all around, and it's always cool. One of the things I want to say, it's very cool to see people I know or that are native, but also there's many people out there are white allies that have bought in that plate because it supports the office.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. That wasn't one of the recommendations, but it was just sort of an inspiration I had one day driving to the state capitol when we were in session. And I was driving and I was looking around at all the license plate, and there was a big deal about that black license plate and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, God, we should make a license plate, not only because hopefully it would generate money for the office, but it brings awareness to the situation. So I got into my office and told my assistant my idea. And we had this really dynamite intern at the time. I said, here's what I'm thinking. We need a license plate, but I got to get down to my committee meeting. So I got to go. And honestly, hour and a half later, 2 hours when I came back from my committee hearings, they had the bill ready to go.
Wow.
I know. It was fantabulous. And I mean, I had a vision in my mind. That image behind you on your over your shoulder of the young woman with the hand over her mouth, that is the logo for the MMIR office. That is on the license plate along with a ribbon skirt, just kind of how I imagined it. And it has generated over $500,000 to the, and then we created the reward fund. And these dollars from the license plates go into this reward fund and to help the work of the office. So, it's been phenomenal. It's been an 8 year trek towards doing this. And, I'm not ready to give up on it. The really cool thing is that not only are we looking for a new director, but we're also looking for fresh information and fresh ideas around the MMIR office and the work that needs to be done. And so the most wonderful Dr. Nicole Mitchell, Dr. Nicole Martin Rogers from the Wilder Institute is coming back, and she is going to be leading us in sort of a refresh task force. There'll be listening sessions remotely, and then we'll have an in-person one at the American Indian Center. And I'll send you that information too, Robert, so that you can post that. But, we're not giving up on the MMIR office. We're going to make sure that we continue to support our communities and work through this historic trauma.
Wow. Hey, you heard it first here from State Senator Mary Kunesh of the great state of Minnesota. We got more to come with her, and we always really appreciate these updates. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho-ah. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Programming is supported in part by Health Partners. If you're age 65 plus and qualify for medical assistance, you may also qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. This all-in-one plan bundles Medicare, medical assistance, prescription drug coverage, and dental coverage into one simple $0 premium plan that also includes $0 medical copays. In addition to saving money, you can get lots of extra benefits and perks, like a dedicated care coordinator, up to $400 each year in rewards for preventative screenings, transportation, a fitness club membership, and more. This can help you live safely and healthy and independently. If you're a senior on a budget, transportation assistance can be huge. Plus, who couldn't use an extra $400 these days? Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The Montessori American Indian Child Care Center is a Native-led nonprofit child care center located in Roseville. Our mission is to create access to high-quality early learning in the American Indian community and build a strong cultural foundation that prepares children and families for their K-12 education experience. Learn more and donate at maiccmn.org. That's maiccmn.org.
Maintaining our health, particularly our heart health, is very important to us as a family.
Your heart gives you time with family, time with community, time to pass down what matters. Protecting your heart helps keep those moments alive. A visit with a healthcare provider can be one step toward a healthier future. Learn more at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats. Your heart health is essential because your heart beats for generations.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 60, Saturday sunny with a high near 83, and Sunday sunny with a high around 85. Crooners is your go-to classic supper club, offering world-class entertainment and 4-star dining. Catch top artists in the main stage showroom, Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the Belvedere under the stars. Or stop by Maggie's Lounge where there's no cover and no reservations. Visit croonersmn.com for details.
This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm Bobby Wilson. Witcha.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, we're here with our friend State Senator Mary Kunesh from the great state of Minnesota, catching up on all the information that's going on here. I know there's new laws, there's new things happening, but before we get moving here about the election and what's coming up, I wanted to make sure that you were able to finish your thoughts on the MMIR office, and we'll move on from there.
Sure.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I think I kind of covered it, other than, where I am deeply dedicated to to supporting and ensuring that this office continues. And as I said, this is an example, this is a template for the nation. And I know there are other states that are looking at what we are doing here in Minnesota and, looking to us to do it and do it well so that they can duplicate that. And I always said, if I don't think we can count on the federal government, Washington, D.C., to do a countrywide address on MMIW, MMIR, the way Canada has done it. Mm-hmm. But if every state takes it upon themselves to create a task force, to create an office to address this violence and trauma in our communities, we would have our own national task force and addressing the issues. So that's what ultimately what I hope for.
Well, I know there's some new bills that came through that are become law, but also we are just a few days away from Tuesday, August 11th here in Minnesota, where the primary, the all-important primaries happening. And then also, there's bills and things like that may be on the ballot. And maybe we can talk a little bit about both those things, State Senator.
So Tuesday is really, really, really important in Minnesota. We have primaries. That would be August 11th. There is early voting, so you can actually go vote already. You just have to go to you can just Google "where do I vote in Minnesota," and it'll take you to the Secretary of State's office, and you put in your address, and it tells you exactly where to go vote. If you're voting early, I'm just looking at some information here. It's not oftentimes your usual voting place. So for me, I live in New Brighton, and I had to go over to Roseville to do that. But the day of, it's your usual polling place. And, you have voting rights. Nobody should be able to intimidate you there. Hopefully you have registered prior to Tuesday, but if you are not, no worries. You can register right there. If you have just moved, you can bring in an envelope or a bill or something that has your name and that address on it. You can have people vouch for you as well. Mm-hmm. And so, it's important to know your rights when you are a voter. And we don't want anyone to prevent anybody who is eligible to vote from voting. So these are the primaries. This is where the different political parties might have more than one person running for a seat. And we narrow it down to just one person through these primary votes. And those are the people that will be on the ballot in November.
Yeah, very important. And you know, we just think no matter who you're going to vote for, and everyone pretty much listens to this show know who I'm voting for, but whoever you're voting for, it's just very important to vote. And you know, when these primaries come on, and especially, I don't know if you noticed what happened in Michigan, but there was a really close primary, and one of the things was one was really progressive, and the person, he won, and immediately the Democratic Party fell behind this candidate. And hopefully that's going to happen here in Minnesota, regardless of who wins, is that we all jump on and support whomever it does get that endorsement.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oftentimes when there are more than one person running for a certain seat, you know, it doesn't always bring out the best in everybody. But at the end of the day, I feel like the values and the goals of our DFL party is much more in tune with the needs of our communities. And so I will be proud to support whoever wins in those primaries coming up. It's a lot of work. And I wish the best to all of them. A lot of primaries have new candidates running who have never run before. And this is a lot of work. I had one year where I had a primary. Yes, one time I had a primary. And so it's a lot of work. And then you turn around and now you have to start campaigning for the November election. So please support the candidates in the best way possible. When you've already created or found the candidates in your community. And again, after the primary, you can Google who's on my ballot, Minnesota. And on that page, when you put in your address, it'll tell you everybody that will be on your ballot. But most importantly, everybody, there will be a constitutional amendment question on our ballot this year.
Yes.
And it has to do with the school trust funds. And these are dollars that have been invested since the beginning of our statehood. So since 1858, when the federal government allocated lands in Minnesota, they gridded off the state. They looked at every township and said, every plot number 6, put a school on it. Every plot 36 generates some money for public school education.
Wow.
They also gave us a lot of other lands, and much of that land is up on the range and in northern Minnesota.
Wow.
And those dollars from timber and mining have gone into a trust fund for students, and we've never touched it. We've never touched how we are investing those dollars and the formula that we use to generate how much per student that would be. And so I created a task force to study it. And we came up with the plan to not only allocate funds from interest and dividends, but also to include capital gains. So that will increase the amount of money per student. And then we looked at the formula itself. Right now, that fund sits at $2.3 billion.
What? Wow.
And it's grown from, just a few $1 million over the last 10 years. And so while we want to protect the corpus, we also want to be able to generate dollars to our students here and now. And we know school districts there's hardly a school district that doesn't need the additional funding. Wow. And so here we go. We hope to pass this constitutional amendment. There's a question on the ballot. Just remember that this will not raise your taxes. It is not a levy. It is not a referendum. It is earned dollars going directly to schools, and they can choose how to use those dollars. There's no strings attached to how they spend them. But you have to circle in the yes spot, the yes circle on the ballot, because this is really, really, really important, everyone. If you don't fill in the yes, if you leave everything blank, it counts as a no.
Wow. Is it always that way?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. That's good to know.
With any constitutional amendment. So I've been working with a group of really incredible people, and we've put together another campaign, a statewide campaign to educate folks. So you'll be hearing more and more and more about it. And again, Robert, I'll send you the link to the website, to the Facebook page. Minnesota School Board Association has put together some really good information, little videos to help folks understand all about this, because I will bet you 95% of the people in Minnesota have no idea that there are school trust lands. And then they have no idea that there is a trust fund. And as Denise Dietrich, a former legislator, likes to say, every kid in Minnesota is a trust fund baby.
That's
if
right.
you go to public schools, and so these dollars will go to public schools, they'll go to charter schools, which are public schools technically, and our tribal schools. And so much of that school trust land is on tribal lands or reservations. And our 4 BIE schools have not been included in the payout to students ever, because of a technological technicality. In the constitutional amendment, it says to school districts, and those BIE schools are not considered school districts because they're under the federal government's umbrella, education umbrella. So lots going on, lots to talk about, lots of information to share, but that's a big part of my job.
Yeah, you're going out of town, so we're going to try and hit you up next Friday and talk about that. We got about 30 seconds. And one of the things I want to say before you do talk about that is I'd like to have one show to talk about all the bills that you've been involved with, because we know there's people out there that been state representative or state senator that have never done any bills. So I'd really love to hear how many you've done, because it sounds like a lot.
I think I don't know, to tell you the truth.
That's
it takes some work to figure that one out.
Well, hey, thank you so much, State Senator Mary Kunesh from the great state of Minnesota.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, we'll be right back with Miisko and our Young Warrior Woman segment. And this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Ho!
Attention Hennepin County Leech Lake Band members. The Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe presents Our Voices, Our Future. Join us on Saturday, August 8th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Barbecue luncheon, guest speakers, and door prizes. Located at the LLBO Twin Cities office, 2438 27th Avenue South, Minneapolis. Need a ride to the polls? Rides are available to the polls on August 8th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Text for ride at 218-402-5003. Include name and address. Please vote in the Minnesota primary election. Miigwech.
Heart health is more than just the physical well-being. It represents like a foundation of vitality, resilience, and the ability to live fully.
Your heart carries stories of resilience, love, and survival. Caring for your heart means honoring yourself and the generations before and after you. It means protecting your ability to gather, laugh, and be present. Learn more about your heart health at hennepincounty.gov/heart-beats, because your story matters and your heart beats for generations. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Tiergan.
And I'm Hadley.
We're two of the very first listeners, and we're
still listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio. This is Robert Pilot, and we are here with our friend Miisko, the producer of Native Roots Radio. What a great show, Miisko. Always great to hear from the lieutenant or the state senator, Mary Kunesh. Almost gave her I don't know if it's a raise or not, but always great information. And hey, now we're in our special our Friday edition of Young Warrior Woman's Update. So take it away, Miisko. Ho!
It's good to talk to everyone here today. My name is Miisko Gimiwan, which means red rain. Miisko for short. Super glad to be here and use my voice. I like to say that I'm still learning about, the political landscape, news, native news that are happening right now, and, where to find news. I'm super grateful to be working here with Native Roots Radio and The Circle. We have a lot of great information coming out that I'm hearing about. And again, it's always important to hear from our Native women representatives and our Native women like political consultant such as Arvina. I really love having her on the show, and just hearing their thoughts on things and why it's important to me and why it's important to anybody, because as you always say, Native news is for everybody. Yeah. I blinked out on your saying, but truly it is super important to learn about all these things, about things that are happening in laws, things that we need to be aware of when voting. So thank you, Mary, for raising awareness about the constitutional amendment that will be on our Minnesota ballots next Tuesday. And so I'm hoping to spread more awareness about this, on social media, because that is where a lot of people my age get their information. And so I've been really trying to push our social medias, our Facebooks, Instagrams, TikToks, all that, short form and quick media, just so that it's at our fingertips. Almost everyone has a phone nowadays. Almost everyone is on their computer. And so we have access to news sources, whether it's on the radio, online. And so again, check out the Circle News. We'll be posting something about that. If you want to share it with your friends, it'll also be on the social medias. If you want to share it, spread the word out, put it on your stories. The young people in your families will see that, and they're going to be like, hey, that looks like something interesting that I need to learn about, and you're doing your part by educating those around you. And again, as we always say, encourage your family, friends, and relatives to vote. Help them out. If you haven't voted early, make sure on the day of your voting, and you're also helping your friends and relatives know about what's on the ballots, and helping them get there if need a ride or anything.
Yeah, great news. And yeah, talk a little bit more. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but you put social media out for Native Roots Radio and the Circle magazine. Daily articles are being put up on the Circle, and then daily information about Native Roots Radio is on the Native Roots Radio end. It's been great to see that. The Circle's been around since 1980. There's over 10,000 views a month on the Circle website. So it's really a great place, and it's going to be a really good place for daily news, native news, and a place to go to.
Yes, I just want to give flowers to every writer and the chief editor, who's working on the magazine. I just want to reiterate, there will be a magazine out at the State Fair this year, so make sure you come check us out. We'll also be doing the show there. I just want to emphasize that Native Roots Radio and the Circle are two separate entities. But we work run in the same circles. We all report on Native news. And so if you're finding things here on Native Roots Radio valuable, make sure you check out the Circle News, because they have more writers and more people reporting on what's happening. And it's just another good resource to have, as well as the quarterly magazines and the special edition magazines. You get to learn about culture, arts, news, and this is great resources for anyone who's interested. And again, it affects everybody, the things we talk about, and it gives you a new perspective on how to view the world.
You know, it's funny too, Miisko. There's I don't want to say a lot of ads, but there's a lot of support for the Circle magazine. And those ads that are in the Circle magazine are very informative to the community. They're telling, they're not like, buy this used car. It's talking about things that are very helpful to the community. So we're really, really blessed as people to have the Circle magazine and have the community sponsor it in such a good way. I just wanted to say that because it's funny. The ads are for our people and talking about all these great things that are happening.
Right. And when you think about magazine, like when I think about a magazine, I'm thinking about dresses, those scratch and sniff perfumes, and then you're being sold Tide Pods. But for the Circles magazine, it's beautiful. There's a front and back cover. The front cover is, I believe, is Lakota design, and the back cover is Ojibwe design. And It's such a beautiful magazine. And anytime, I try to find time to read, and so whenever I have any downtime, I just pull out the magazine, I read an article, maybe I'll get halfway through it, and it just really inspires me to hear the words that people are writing and saying, and I don't know, super inspiring. It really got me interested in wanting to learn how to write, learn how to report on news, and just bring awareness to what's happening nowadays. We're a modern people. We have a magazine, we have websites, and I just want to encourage everyone to go check those out. And again, the ads are for resources in the community. It's about well-variety. It's about positive things happening that you can be a part of. They're not trying to sell you anything. They're just saying, hey, this is a free thing that you can, there's an event, there's access to resources, and so just check that out. I'm glad you brought that up.
It's so true. And I kind of just thought about that, Miisko, because I'm a part of it as like you said, the chief editor without a headdress. That the people that are supporting the magazine are doing it because they want to get the word out to all these great services that are out there. It's amazing, from Indigenous, the health place out there on Franklin Avenue, and just places like that.
Yeah, and especially with all these new, renovations happening, new buildings being created for spaces for Native people. I'm just super excited. Things that I'm talking about recently, the Minneapolis American Indian Center had a renovation. IHB is getting a new community wellness building. NACD is getting, a building being created, and it's by, is it by a Native architect, I believe?
Yes, both of them. Both of them.
So all these amazing things are happening, and these are things that are being reported on through the news, through the Circle, on social medias. And if you think it's interesting, maybe your friends and family would think it's interesting, as well as there's resources out there for you. So they're not just buildings being built; these are spaces for people and for you to access. And I don't know, just really want to emphasize that, and give them their flowers for everything that they're doing.
Yeah, let me add to that too, that the places that you talked about that are being renovated, they're going to be really indigenized. There's Native art, there's Native artists, there's teepees. There's things that that make Native people feel at home, and it's beautiful art.
Yes, and our Native doctors that we have on here, Dr. Anthony Stately, he's always amazing. I love when he comes and talks about what's happening in the building, what pieces of art means to him, and the expansion. And so, I don't know, just super excited for all the things that are happening in Native community. As well as one more thing I want to talk about before we end the show. I just wrote some articles on the circle. One of them is that appeals court affirms Bad River sovereignty, orders Line 5 removal. So on June 30th, the United States District Court for the Western District of Wisconsin ruled that Enbridge Energy is trespassing on the Bad River band of Lake Superior. So they're going to have them remove the pipeline. They're giving them time to, I forgot the word, reroute it.
Right.
And again, more news like this you can find on the Circle, as well as, follow us on the social medias. Always tune in. Just thank you all for listening.
Hey, it's Native Roots Radio, Big Peeny Gigi. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Miisko. Ho!
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations.